Hello and welcome to episode 25 of TemTalk, your weekly podcast dedicated to the creature collection MMO Temtem. Today we're going to be reviewing the Kisiwa story and some new Tems from Kisiwa. Right off the bat, just in case anyone's scared of spoilers, I'll say we're not going to do that till the end of the show. So if for some reason you still haven't beat Kisiwa, you can hang out for like the first hour and we'll let you know before we transition to that. But as always, I'm Vonlin and I'm joined by Gaijinbu and Kennedy. How are you both?
I am excited and always happy to be here. It has been such a fun week playing Temtem. I haven't even touched Park. Get that mess out of here.
Those competitive Tems don't interest you?
For getting Luma versions of them, Kennedy?
Spriel? Yeah, what is it? Spriel and Psypark?
You really haven't been paying attention to Psypark. You're like, what's in Psypark even?
Certainly think Grandpa would be the Evos, but you can get Paharo with hyperkinetic strike.
All right, you guys...
I've got a perfect Grandpa already, and I've got a perfect Cerny. So yeah, I don't have Luma versions of them, but
with the
I don't know.
Guys, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm also doing well. No complaints. I've been doing some Luma hunting on my giveaway account inside Park, but I've been doing some free temming on my main account because I need money and I don't have any. So, just trying to get some money and not be broke forever and eternity all the time. So, currently doing that, and that's really about it.
Right on. Well, let's. You guys are already talking about it, so let's just jump straight into that news and start with Psypark, shall we?
Why not? Might as well.
Let's do it.
So, like we were saying, it was a Luma week. It was Paharo and Spiroli. I don't know how do you say that, Gaijin? Spriel. Cerny is what it evolves into. I can do that one, right? It was
just call it Spriel.
Yeah, Spriel. It was times 3 Luma odds, 10% egg chance, 100% spawn rate, 2,800 Pansuns, 10 side cards you got for that. The free Tem rewards go from 60 to 400. At the very top, you get a Telemore hack for stamina. You also get 2 gifted DNA strands for 250. So there's actually a couple. As much as at first impression, I looked at this and I thought, oh, they're just trying to keep Psypark free Tem and Psypark pretty basic and let people do Kisiwa stuff. But the more I looked at this, the more I actually liked a lot of things about both sides of this Psypark week. So, for instance, let's just talk about the Lumas first. Like you said, guys, and they're both competitively good. I like just how good the odds are. That's 100% spawn rate times 3. That's the best odd you can get to get a Luma. We've never seen a better odds to get a Luma. So they're in the spectrum of, quote unquote easy, in the spectrum of Luma hunting, it's the easiest Lumas you can get. And so for that reason, I actually have spent all of my time in Psypark because I want to try to get a double Luma week. I've never done that before, and I really want to get both of them. So before I talk about my notes on the free Tem, so guys, you said they're competitive Tems. I've seen a lot of people in there hunting for them.
Yeah. So these are two really competitive Tems. Grandpa is still top tier as far as competitive goes. The wind meta hasn't been affected a whole bunch by the new Tems that are out. So the wind meta is still very much viable, I believe. Grandpa's still pretty important from what I understand. But yeah, they're both great competitive Tems. Cerny has seen a lot of play. I believe I've seen people like Dave Goblino do some serious work with them.
If I may, I also just both like these Lumas. I'm a sucker for any golden Luma. I think golden Lumas are always really cool and flashy. I like Cerny. I like Grandpa. I think it looks like Zapdos, kind of. It reminds me of Zapdos, at least.
What? Not even close.
It's a big golden bird, all right? That's enough for me to be like, oh, I like it. That's all I'm saying. You're shaking your head though. You disagree? You're not a fan of these Lumas?
No, I'm not a fan personally of either Luma. Really, I don't really like the golden Lumas. I liked Barnchi because it wasn't really gold. It was like orange, which I enjoyed. It was different. But there's so many just gold Lumas.
The Luma design is just let's make it gold. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. I'm a sucker. I guess I'm I'm a traditionalist. It's like, this is rare, make it gold. That's pretty basic, but I don't know. It works for me. It works. Cernif especially. I really like Cernif. Grandpa, okay.
You
But
just get distracted by shiny things. That's all it is.
100%. 100%. Kennedy, you said you didn't even barely knew what was in Park. So I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that? Oh, the other thing I really like, this was what I was going to point out. I like that they're doing 10 cards. This is like 2 or 3 weeks in a row we've seen that. I love that. I hope they never change that. When it used to be only 5 or 6 cards, and we had to have these stupid debates.
Whoa. It's only 5 or 6 on the rare ones.
Is that what changes it?
It's the rare ones. It's their spawn rate.
I hope.
And
see, I
the
don't like
rarity
that.
of those Temtem. No,
Yeah,
absolutely,
I don't like
it should be that way.
No, because then you just have to buy it twice, or run a risk of not getting it. Just
sure.
If anything,
but
double the cost and still just make it twice as expensive,
No.
but still give you 10 cards.
That's stupid. Why would they double the cost? Just buy 2 sets of cards and then you're paying double the cost anyway.
I'll tell you exactly why.
Get out of here,
I'll tell you exactly why. Because of the people that are cheap and only buy 1 set, and they get a rare Luma to appear, and then they don't catch it with 5 or 6 cards, and then they
whose
rage.
Fault is that?
Their
Whose
fault.
fault is that?
They're gonna rage. They're gonna post on Reddit. They're gonna quit the game. Just give us 10
care.
side cards.
No, get out of here. Just buy 2 sets of cards and quit crying about it.
No, I like it. I like that they do the 10 side cards. I hope they do it more often. I hope they do it every side park.
They will. They'll do it when there's less rare Temtem.
Yeah.
You guys know that you're getting paid meme? It's like Bonlin saying side cards are too expensive. Gaijin's like side cards are just right. I'm like, you guys have side cards?
The cost of these cards are too damn high.
The other thing I like...
I want to
Oh, yeah,
shout
go
out
ahead.
real quick
Yeah.
to Talakai inside of the chat over
Yeah.
here. He said he's touching 10k encounters with no Lumas for real yet.
Yeah.
No.
I use Grandpa on my team. I used Grandpa on my team last patch cycle, and I have a Cernif on my team now. And getting these Tims as Lumas was something that I did originally want. But when you stopped and you thought about all of the things happening this weekend, there is the increased rank catch-up time for rank rewards on top of the 40% bonus Pansun rewards happening this weekend, on top of 3 tournaments this weekend. It's like, okay, do I want to spend my time potentially running around Side Park and not getting anything? Or do I want to level Tims and TV train so I know I can get some rank rewards, and so I know I can get so I can enter into some of these tournaments and play with some of these great players. So for me, it wasn't that Side Park wasn't lucrative. It was that there were just more lucrative things happening on a smaller window of which they were happening that I had to prepare for. That kept me out of Side Park.
That is the best first world problem to have in Temtem. You're like, there's too much stuff I want. Basically, you're saying, I got to take issue with both you and Talakai. You're complaining there's too much stuff to do. You're not really complaining. You're just saying that's why you didn't do it. But I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel like once again, I feel like 3 months ago where I couldn't figure out what I want to do with my time in Temtem. And I want to split my attention between all those things. Talakai, though, I feel for you, Talakai. Let me preface that by saying I'm sorry you didn't get that. But also, is this what we've come to? We've come to complaining that you've only gotten 2 Lumas within the week and you didn't get one without an egg move. We used to complain that we didn't get Lumas, and now it's, I got 2 Lumas but neither had an egg move. You got first world problems left and right is all I'm saying, which means I think we're in a good place. If this is the best we can come up with to complain about.
Well, yeah, and I will say I'm not complaining.
No,
at all.
you weren't complaining at all. You were just explaining what you did.
I skimmed Talakai's comment. I mean, you got Lumas, man. Yeah, it does suck that you didn't get a
I didn't find
one.
Any Lumas so far,
Right.
Talakai. So
that's what I'm saying.
Hard for the course for me, but
yeah.
Talakai getting 2 Lumas. Congratulations. I mean, it's lame that they don't have the egg move, but hey, 2 Lumas.
Still a good week.
And Von Lux, stop screaming at our viewers.
So before we move on past Side Park, I just on the free Tem side, a couple interesting things. One, I'm a little disappointed that it's only 1 Telmore hack. I mean, it's not too surprising being a Luma week, but it's weird because they've definitely done 425 or 450 releases and you get 2 hacks. So to only get 1 hack for 400 releases is a little interesting. But I like that they have a Telmore hack at the top, and I like that the second to top one is a breeding one, because those are pretty highly valued, and so nice to see. So I don't know, interesting free time. Not perfect, but I don't have a ton of complaints about it either. Hey, did you guys,
I mean,
go ahead.
it's okay. Like it's fine. You know, I'm not really free temming to try and get those rewards. I'm just trying to get pantsuns because the rewards don't really super interest me. Although I have missed like 8 weeks worth of telomere hacks, so
Yeah,
I gotta start doing something.
I'm the same way. I've only gotten like 2 free Telmore hack rewards, probably 2 weeks worth out of all the
Ooh,
ones I've done.
do we want to talk about the goof at the start of the week from the server reset, or?
Look, we will right now because we're gonna go talk about the patch that fixed it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the perfect transition.
So
Patch
one,
6.3 fixed it, right? You're talking about that goof?
No,
no,
you're talking about
not
the sidebar
willpower.
group.
Yeah, so I actually missed last week's telomere hacks. I was 30 tims off from it, and I was free timming that night. But they moved
Later.
the server reset to be later, so I was like, I got plenty of time. But whoever actually put it in the coding, um, plus or minus the wrong way, and
Oh.
instead of moving it 4 hours later, they moved it 4 hours earlier.
Oh, okay.
So I actually finished free timming, but I hadn't gone to turn it in yet
Oh
because I was
no.
running through all of my side cards, and then the server reset, and I missed my Tullamore hacks, and a lot of people were like really, really sad.
Did they just
That
leave it, or did they
the
change or
server.
fix anything, or they just said, "Oops, sorry," and that was it?
Well, yeah, there wasn't really much that they could do.
Yeah.
They couldn't reset. They were all out of office, and home and sleep for the
Sure.
weekend, and then they couldn't, like reset.
Okay.
It's like, okay, let's just have last week's
I
thing
saw the
again.
tweet about it, but I didn't look super close into it. I thought it was just referring to the timing of the tweet. I didn't realize the actual reset happened off schedule.
Oh yeah. No, the whole reset was off schedule.
So it
They
was
didn't even announce it until well after it was out.
so it
Like
was
people
4
were
hours
were
earlier than
hunting
normal.
Side Park.
It was 4 hours
Yeah.
earlier than normal, and
Yeah,
8 hours earlier than it was supposed to be.
they reset it at 8 p.m. Eastern time
Jeez.
instead of midnight. So it was 3 hours early, or no? It was 7. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dang!
So
I
just
can't
note
count.
to everybody listening and who will be listening to this in the future, don't drag your feet on your free tim.
Oh, I
Get it
always
done
do.
early, get it out of the way if you
Yeah,
want to do free tim.
always do your free tem as soon as reset happens. Work on your free tem if free tem is important to you. This way, it gives you the rest of the week to hunt. You don't have to try to crank it out the last day or stress about it or anything like that. I do that every time, and I never hit free tem.
I'm the opposite. I procrastinate it. The last Telmore hacks I got, I literally got like half an hour before the server reset on both of my accounts. I'm a procrastinator for sure. Kennedy, do you want to talk about the willpower bug before I go into patch 6.3?
Yeah. So what happened last week? There was a new move added to Grandpa and one other Tim, but it slips my mind who got it. And it's a move called Willpower that has 1 hold, 13 stamina, and it drains 23 stamina from the opponent. When this was implemented, it worked on NPCs, but I guess it wasn't ever tested in PvP against other players. Because when you were in a competitive match and you willpower drained another opponent's Tim, it bugged out their UI so that they couldn't select anything, and essentially they couldn't use any moves, and they lost a turn. And so Grandpa was causing people to instantly lose PvP matches from willpower. And so because it was such an atrocious problem, the mods and devs actually had to disable rank rewards last week, and we just got them turned back on this week, Monday, when everything was fixed.
We'll go into the patch here, but Karin is the other Tim that can use it, and it's maybe you said this and I didn't catch it, but just to be clear, it drains stamina from the other Tem and gives it to your Tem. You might have said that while I was googling what other Tem has it, but just in case anyone missed it, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to just it's like it leeches stamina to your Tem. But instead, it was, like you said, making them lose their turn.
Yeah, and when the mods were really, really cool and forward about discussing this, they discussed it with the competitive community when the bug was first discovered. And Krima knew that they couldn't fix it instantly. And so they're like, what do you want us to do until we can get this fixed? And the collective agreement was to disable Pansun rewards from rank. And so once they got it fixed, they put a catch-up period for rank where rank had increased rewards to make up for the time you weren't making money for rank.
Did they talk in Discord with people about that? Where did that discussion happen?
The TemTalk hashtag competitive channel on the official Discord.
You started talking about it, but that's what happened. I want to set up what happened. So then the actual patch came out on the 27th that fixed it. So I got this pulled up here now. 0.6.3 on the 27th of July. The biggest fix right away was the willpower fix that you were talking about, and like you were just starting to go into, and I stepped in. So now, as of right now, as of last night, you can get 40% increased rewards from ranked, and that's gonna happen. That's gonna be in effect till Monday when they get into the office. So business hours in Spain, you have until then on Monday to collect 40% increased rewards. Have you won any matches? Either of you guys sent them to see what the payout and gotten the good payouts at? I haven't yet, but I want to.
I won one this morning, 3.8k pan suns.
Dude, damn, that's nice.
Off a single match? That's amazing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I haven't done any competitive. I mean, I did 2 competitive matches the other day. Kennedy was helping me through the first one, and then the second one I did myself, and neither went very well. Mostly because Kennedy was trying to catch up with the delay and couldn't really, because I was making decisions before Kennedy was finished talking because Kennedy couldn't see.
I gotta ask about this. I saw in the notes that you talked about that you did some competitive. So set the scene for me. So you've TV trained your Tems then. You have an 8 Tems TV trained?
No, I didn't TV train. I was lone Tem.
Okay, you were alone. And Gaijin's Kennedy said something about you beat him in a match or something.
Jacob and Dumaga. No, I didn't beat Kennedy.
Kennedy's losing matches for Gaijin. I thought it was against Gaijin that I read. Okay.
Yeah. So Dumaga and just Jacob both loaned me some Temtems, which is pretty cool. And I used their Tems to build a team to try and do competitive with, and it was not great, but I did try. Yeah, Blank. I did try.
The other
I had I was coaching Gaijin on stream, and I just had a really, really bad call for him that caused him to eat an allergic spread, and I was like, oof, the oofaronis.
Oof.
The other stuff in 6.3, there's a bunch of bullet points. I'm not going to go through them. I just kind of wrote a little summary. It's various game crash types of fixes, animation fixes, bug fixes, some fixes with the chat feature. I thought interesting they fixed some stuff with the incubator bag graphical display where you saw eggs floating around. So they fixed stuff with the incubator bags. There's other stuff in there, but I think that's the big high-level highlights. I don't know. Anything else you have from the patch?
The whole egg floating around thing. People were trying to say that one of the mental type eggs floating around was a legendary or mythical. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kennedy almost got trolled by that. He was in our TemTalk Discord group chat being like, look at this, and Kennedy's just like, that's not real, man.
Well, it was real.
Well, yeah,
I didn't
floating around.
It was not a mythical reveal.
I did not know what it was. I was just like, somebody posted this. We cover news. Here it is.
So another news thing straight from the devs. This is on a YouTube comment on one of our videos, so I had to clarify this. QA Angel posted on our last episode on YouTube, Kisiwa was here, where we talked about people. We said that people are getting remember there was that ban issue. People are getting banned incorrectly, and we thought it was for. We said something about and this is a clarification correction that they pointed out. We said it was something to do with the Hocus spot. We thought that they hadn't fixed that, and I even said I'm like I don't understand how they didn't think about turning that ban feature off. Well, turns out I was wrong. They did turn that off. That's not why people are being banned. Q Angel said people weren't banned because of the Hocus spot. It was another thing related to some items. So that was what was causing the faulty bans. It had nothing to do with the Hocus spot. It wasn't that they forgot to disable that. They were smart enough to disable that. It was something else. So I definitely wanted to call that out since Q Angel took the time to comment on our video, which I thought was super cool. I really was excited to see that.
Thanks, Q Angel.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thanks for keeping us honest and in check, especially when I start questioning why Kenu's doing things. You're like, obviously we're not doing it because of that reason. So. Okay, so I forgot to talk about. I was gonna talk with you guys about this beforehand, and I totally forgot to. So we don't get too in the weeds about it. But the backer rewards came out for the hats. So I'm pulling up the Kickstarter page on that now. So in case
Gaijin and I had a really good discussion on
I
this
I
earlier
know
this
that's
week,
why
and I think we
I was
just
gonna touch
landed on
base.
opposite sides.
I was gonna touch base with you guys to figure out how much we wanted to go into or not go into to keep it healthy, but I totally forgot to, so we'll just wing this. But for those that aren't aware, some of the more of the backer rewards have been delivered, including 3 different hats depending on how high you backed, a backer emote pack, again a bunch of different. Wait, no, so it includes 4 emotes. Yeah, so you get 4 emotes if you're a backer. And then there's a bunch of titles based on how much you backed, all the way from Alpha Hero to Breeder. And basically, there's all these different levels of backing, and so you get different titles. I think all of them got the emote pack, and then the hats were based on how high you backed as well. So cool to see the backer stuff. It's our first titles we've seen in game. First time we've seen cosmetic emotes as a reward or transaction. But the really big news is these hats are tradable, and as far as I know, they're still tradable, right? They haven't changed that.
Yeah, they're still tradable.
So go ahead. I'll let you guys talk about why this is or isn't controversial. One of you guys want to take it?
They should not be tradable, personally, in my opinion. These are so the Luma starters aren't tradable, but the cosmetics are. I mean, I feel like you should not be able to buy something with real money and then trade it in game for virtual currency. It seems like that's an RMT loophole for me personally. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this incorrectly, but it feels to me that these are special items that people received for backing the game, and now all of a sudden people that didn't back the game, that didn't know about it, and I know that a lot of us like myself didn't know about it, but I'm not upset that I'm not getting this stuff because I didn't know. But I don't think this stuff should be able to be traded to people who don't have the game, because there's a lot of people that have money in Temtem that bought or RMT that shouldn't have these items, that will most likely buy them because they're an exclusive item and they're going to be worth insane amounts of money later on. By making them tradable and being such a rare limited item, these things are going to be worth so many Pansuns after full release, because you can only get them. They're such a limited supply that these things are going to sell for insane amounts of money. And in order to get this, you had to use real money trading.
Kennedy, counterpoint. Your thoughts. You had a different opinion on this.
Yeah, so for me, how I see this is these people who back the game, this was part of their purchase of the game. Like when you back stuff on Kickstarter, most of the time you're supporting the project and you're purchasing, the product. And so this was, to me, part of their purchase. And I know it's going to be controversial, but for people who, buy the game, and I use myself as an example, and Gaijin disagreed with this example, but I bought a second copy of the game, and then I sold my starter clothes for Pansuns in game, and that was something that took virtually zero effort. And is it RMT that I was able to buy the game, get an item, sell it instantly for Pansuns, even if it's horrific rates of RMT of $36 for 120,000 Pansuns. And so that's how I see this. I do agree with Gaijin though that these items shouldn't be tradable, but the fact that they are tradable, I think it's ridiculously stupid that anyone would sell these. Like, it's no amount of Pansuns. When you play an MMO, the perceived value of items is, how hard is it to get? Can you still get it in game? Is it tradable to other players, and can you show it off? And then loosely in some other MMOs, is it a benefit in game? Like, does it have huge bonuses? And the fact that these items are so limited, and who has them and who's able to trade or who's able to sell them to another player, it's going to be infinitely valuable into the future. So it's like really silly to me that people would even think about selling these. Then on the same note, they did, they purchased these items with their copy of the game. They should be allowed to do what they want with them, even make the dumb decision of selling them. But on that, I really hope that since like Krima is making these still in the game, I wouldn't mind if these were like a super high tier achievable item in the game, like a really super hard achievement of like beat the battle tower 500 times or something and you get this item just because it's it's gonna devalue these somewhat into the future, where it's just like, this is why we made them tradable at this point, because if you purchase it now, you got to sell it for huge amounts of money, get huge amounts of pan suns as a thank you for our game, and then and then we're adding this in later into the future, where it's just like the same thing with the Luma starters, where it's just like, oh, it was RMT for getting the Luma starters of, you paid money, you got a Luma starter, and it's just like everybody else can get this in the game, but as a thank you for founding and helping us get off of the ground, you were able to get one of these, or, potentially 3 of these, just as a one-time thank you.
No, those things should never be earnable outside of having kickstarted the game.
Guys, before you counter too much, I want to weigh in on this. You guys both said, this was my problem with the Luma starters. At the time, I think I was more upset about it than either of you were, because for a time, the Luma starters were tradable for a very limited time for one of the alphas or the betas. So that made me upset that you could buy them for real money and then sell them.
But those, they reset that. Everybody's accounts were reset.
I don't think so, because that's how.
Yes,
that's how
until they started this alpha, January 1st, 21st, everything was reset.
That's how Kick got his Luma Anahir. Is he sold one of his Luma starter, or he traded a Luma starter for Luma Anahir.
You can't trade the Luma starters.
You could for a period. Yeah, if you talk to Keck, that's how he only has 2 Luma starters because he traded away the 3rd one, so it had to have happened before a reset. So that was my whole problem.
Fairly certain you can't trade those, and also they aren't even real Lumas. It's just a skin. They don't have the stats, and they don't have any fertility for using to create 1 in 80 eggs.
By all means, I don't want to rehash the Luma starter argument, but this just made me reminisce of that. I had the same issue with that, is that those were tradable for a while. So we'll talk to Keck. I mean, we should talk to Keck before the next episode. But
does anybody in chat know? Because I'm like 99% certain that that's not possible.
So if you know what I'm talking about. If you inspect Keck, he only has 2 Luma starters, right, and his team. That's because he traded away one of them. Here, I'll do it. I got it pulled up right here. So you can see on Keck's team right now.
I can see in his party he has only 2, but that doesn't mean he traded one away.
That's what I talked to him directly about it, and that's what he explained, is he sold it, and then he either traded it directly for the Luma Anahir or sold it and then used that money to get the Anahir. But that's how he got the Anahir, was he traded the crystal for it.
He may have caught a crystal and traded it for the Anahir. I doubt he had that as a starter, because you can't trade starters. And they reset before the alpha. They reset everything.
We'll get him to clarify, hopefully before next week we can clarify it and find out what he did. But that was my understanding of it. So that's why I took some issues with it. Yeah. All right. Before I knew that the backer topic was going to be controversial. You guys got any closing thoughts on it? We could sit here all day and argue this opinion versus that opinion. So I don't want to go too deep into it. Everyone's going to disagree on what's best. Oh, the only thing I would like to ask, I personally, here's my opinion. I don't know. These backer items, okay, they're tradable. I probably don't think they should be. It doesn't really make me upset. The biggest reaction I have from this is I'm concerned that the cosmetic items that will be microtransactions at full release will be tradable, and I don't like the idea of that. Because that's going to directly say, okay, I can turn $10 into 100,000 pan suns. If there's a market value for these items in pan suns and I can buy them with money. I mean, I don't know if I have an issue with that, but that's what that's going to state. There's lots of games that do that. WoW has its tokens. EVE Online does a similar thing. I don't know if Guild Wars does, but a lot of MMOs do that, where you can pay for game time and then trade that in-game for people. So it's a way for the game developer to control currency trading for money and devalue third parties and botters and gold sellers. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but all I want to ask right now, whether good or bad, do you think this is an indicator that the cosmetic items you can buy with real money later will also be tradable? Because I'd always assumed they wouldn't be, but now I'm starting to wonder.
I'm going to have to assume, based on this, that they might be, but they might not be considering this as actual. You bought these with currencies. They're probably considering this just like the Luma starters. You didn't pay to get that.
Just this.
I mean, sure, you may have backed that tier that awarded those items, but because you helped get this game get off the ground and become a reality, yes, you should be awarded actual items in game to show off that you did that, which is one reason why I think they shouldn't be traded, because people that didn't kickstart the game or help get it off the ground now have those items. But neither here nor there. But they may not be considering that as, buying with real money to get cosmetic to then be trading for in-game currency.
So you think you won't be able to trade them later, the ones that you buy?
I'm hoping not. I mean, I really
too.
hope not. Like, you should not be able to buy something with real money to trade it for in-game currency. That is the very definition of RMT.
But you do. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but you do recognize that a lot of MMOs have that now as part of as a feature in the game. It's a pretty common thing in the genre. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it wouldn't be the first time a game did it.
A lot of games, I can't trade. A lot of the cosmetic items that I buy in Final Fantasy XIV, I cannot trade.
I mean, I'm saying like major MMOs have they.
Final Fantasy XIV is a major MMO. It's one of the biggest MMOs currently available.
Well, WoW is the biggest MMO available, and does
WoW is likely not the biggest MMO anymore. WoW has stopped reporting on numbers for a long time because they are plunging.
RuneScape,
but sure.
RuneScape,
on Gaijin's point,
RuneScape also has it. That's a big MMO. It's one of the bigger games that's streamed on Twitch.
Free to play.
On Gaijin's point, though, talking about some of these items being tradable, I know I'm big in Guild Wars 2. It's very rare that an item gets released on the cash shop that can be tradable, and a lot of the times it's only like brief windows where maybe something forgot to be checked in a box, and then devs have to go back and say, "Oops," and make it untradable. As far as like the indication on this, y'all in the spoilers channel, if anybody feels uncomfortable about this, the devs have been pretty forward in talking about the store and their plans for it, as far as like when people ask questions, but nobody's really asked many about it. Y'all did answer a question this week and say mounts will be on the store, as
really?
It's not going to be something you have to train up and bond with and do things. Like you can buy like special mounts and stuff on
did he
the
clarify,
in-game store.
Is that the only way you're going to be able to get mounts? Or just a way?
Probably not.
I don't know. It was just a side discussion happening in TemTalk spoilers. So if you guys feel uncomfortable about the store, go to TemTalk spoilers, and you can't at Yaw because that's illegal. But at Suki, ask her to ask someone.
Well, that's like I said, we could fight about this all day. So I'll keep moving along unless you guys have some really pressing burning you want to get in about it. A quick thing I saw, I'm not going to pull up the exact Reddit post, but someone posted a bug on Reddit, and Itsuki's replied to it saying, she said that there's two things I liked about this. She said, though our devs read Reddit report bugs on the bug forums, or on the forums under bug reports. So one, it was a nice confirmation that the devs are on Reddit and reading it. I know subreddits and Reddits always wonder if the devs pay attention to them or not. And according to Itsuki, they do. But secondly, just another reminder, stop posting your bug reports on Reddit. Go put them under the official forums on the bug report section if you want to see them. Chances are you'll probably find it's already been reported a bunch. It doesn't hurt to report it again, but just something I always like throwing out there when I see the community manager take the time to point that out. Did you just dab, Kennedy?
I did.
So, moving along to our Discord roundup, which we're now calling the weekly mix, thanks to Gaijin's idea for that.
And that is MYX?
Yeah,
like
of
the
course.
Temtem.
Yeah, of course. So, I just had a few posts in here that Kennedy was so kind to pull out together for us. One of them saying cosmetics are always going to be expensive. So, the people that are like, oh, I hope they reduce the cosmetic price item for Pansuns, they're not going to. And I don't know, this is just an opinion again, but I don't think they're that expensive. I get that they're expensive, But I redid my whole outfit for like 100,000 Pan Suns, which, yeah, it's 100,000 Pan Suns, but that's not that much money to most players. It's a decent amount of money, but it's not unheard of.
Real quick, Vonlin, I'll let you keep going.
Uh-huh.
All of these posts from Yaw are on the same subject. The discussion that was happening was between Q&A Angel and some players, and Yaw jumped in. They were discussing the economy and how boring it is for non PvP players to essentially have to grind out free Tim all the time for money. And Yaw jumped in and said, talking about the grind and their plans for other sources of income.
I'll just go right. That's a good lead. So the other things that Yas said was that we're adding more variety to the economy sources, so you aren't obliged to do free temp 24/7 if you want money. But then he also says if you expect something that gives you 3 times what the free temp gives you now, then start being disappointed. So he's saying there's going to be more variety. It might be more money per hour than free temp, but it's not going to be an outrageous amount more. And that the cosmetic items will still always be expensive. So I got more opinions on this, but I'll let you guys weigh in first.
I mean, I don't really have too much of an opinion there. I understand that cosmetics are going to be expensive. We're not in the end game yet. We have no idea what the final sources of income are going to be like. I'm sure it will be a decent boost, but it's hard to say because free temming at the end of the game might also provide a similar economic value. I mean, it's hard to say what it's going to look like once we get there. So I can't really weigh in on how expensive stuff is because even me, who has no money, has been able to buy cosmetics.
Right.
I mean, if you want something, work for it, I guess.
I mean, that's my feeling on the cosmetic items and the income levels is you can make like almost, if not 15,000 Pan Suns an hour. And there's very few cosmetic items that cost more than 30,000. There's a couple, but not many. So in 2 hours, you can buy a cosmetic item of grinding. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Like, that's not very much. Seeing as how there's only like 3 or 4 slots of cosmetic items. In an 8-hour play session, you can buy almost a full set of cosmetic items depending on which ones you pick out. So I don't know. I don't think it's that bad, but I understand it's obviously a point of contention for the community.
I mean, part of any MMO really is working and grinding towards the thing that you want. Like, that is basically the bottom premise of MMOs, because once you beat the story, it's finding weapons and finding cosmetics. Right, but this isn't like an RPG. This is a creature collecting game. So what kind of variety can they add? I mean, I know they're going to add some with the battle tower, and there's going to be some quests and things like that, and there's going to be maybe, daily quests, weekly quests, or whatever, but it all comes down to you're catching creatures, right?
But you can, because it's an MMO, they can do some crazy cool stuff with it. I would love, when we get to the spoiler discussion of the storyline, I would love some stuff like the Tassa Desert. Like, if you guys remember when you first get there, the mission that you're given to go around. Yeah. Like, that would be really, really cool to do that. Like, yeah, almost daily like or daily something quest. As like a grind. Yeah. No, as far as the economy sources and adding other ways to it, the devs have already expressed that free Tim needs to be adjusted. If you are really, really ridiculously good at free Tim and you do the math and you do the grind and the crunch, like Vonlin was saying, there are people who get 11 to 14K per hour from free Timming. And if you are really great and exceptional at rank, the biggest earnings I've seen from rank is about 21K per hour, but that's like really knowledgeable and winning like 75% of your games playing ultra quick aggressive teams. And so on average, I would say it's a lot easier to get a huge amount of money from free timming.
Yeah.
And the problem with that I feel the devs haven't explicitly said this, but the reason why I feel like they think it needs to be adjusted, the problem with that with free timming for me is free timming is a 2-for-1, where it's like when I'm free timming, I'm Luma hunting, and when I'm free timming, I am also TV training. So for me, it's like not only am I making a bunch of money, but I'm moving forward in other parts of the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas when I'm playing ranked, all I'm doing is playing ranked. When I'm Luma hunting and Psypark, all I'm doing is Luma hunting and Psypark. Whereas like Free
Right.
Tim gives you so many aspects of the game and a butt ton of money with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like to be always my place more and more. I'm moderation between the two of you. I think Gaijin's point is, yeah, it's an MMO. You're gonna have to grind. Don't complain about having to grind. Agreed. But also agree with Kennedy. There's no reason a grind has to be boring, and that a game developer shouldn't always be trying to find ways for it to be more fun, more engaging. Not necessarily. That doesn't mean increasing the rewards, but giving you more interesting and impactful and fun ways to do it. And yeah, they may be limited in a creature collection MMO, but I don't think it doesn't mean they should stop trying or thinking about ways to make it more fun. I mean, it might be more fun to just battle Tems instead of capture them, or rebattle like trainers. Like they should do something like Poke MMO did, where every week all the trainers in the storyline reset and have like max level Tems, and you can play through. If you want to, you can go walk up the trainers and rebattle them and get rewards once a week. Like that would be more fun than free Tem, right?
I want to say shout out to Great Day in the chat who said raids, please. A lot of people throw shade at Pokemon Sword and Shield as kind of being like unoptimized and not very great. But the one thing I thought that was really, really fun was the Dynamax raids. That was really cool. Teaming up with like 4 trainers to try and catch one super big, awesome Pokemon.
Yeah.
Doing something like that in Temtem, like utilizing the co-op system to take down like a big Tem, would be super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that we need to make the Temtem big. I think maybe just making it more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But because the whole concept of Dynamaxing, I think, is absolutely absurd. I mean, how many different types of mega evolutions are we going to get? Like, get real here, guys. But yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy the Dynamaxes beyond, just that point there. I thought they, getting together with other people and being able to battle a very powerful creature was pretty cool. And that's one of my favorite parts of Pokemon Go as well, is being able to, get together with friends or whatever and just do a raid in Pokemon Go. Like I find that to be very fun. It's engaging. It's something I can do with other people. Because this is an MMO, it has co-op aspects. It'd be nice to see more of that beyond, here's the story. Okay, now that you're done the story, you have nothing else to do co-op with.
Grind co-op encounters over and over until your fingers bleed,
Yeah, I mean, here, let's co-op Luma Hunt. Okay, who gets this one?
Right, yeah, let's have a death battle now. No, let's. Looking at the time, I want to get us out of the news here. Let's go ahead and move on to community highlights. I've pulled out a few memes that I thought were especially good, or not memes, but just posts from Reddit that I liked. Kennedy, I did move around one thing that you had on here. I'll talk about that in a second when I get to that. But first things first, I just really liked this art. I wanted to highlight this. Anna CQRA posted, with the advent of Kisiwa, I got back to the game and started over. Meet the first entry on my Tempedia for the second time. And just a really cool Ho-Chick art, I thought. You see a lot of fan art and stuff. This one just stuck out to me as especially worth, bringing up and showing. So I thought that was cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's very
really
nice.
Liked it.
Yeah. For those listening, it's like a Ho-Chick with like a little Clark Kent bang, and he's floating in the air and got his arms crossed, just looking all smug like the angsty teenager he's going to become.
And she kind of like cartoonized she cartoonized the Tempedia entry behind it as well. Shows the mental type, and it's number 32. So yeah, I really liked it. The next one was, people keep talking about Melee 2Y. If there's going to be a Melee 2Y Punch Bird. So there's this funny picture someone posted of this bodybuilder with just this 2 head.
Brokai, baby.
Yeah, Brokai. Yeah, I like that. So it's got just the 2 head.
What's up, Brokai?
This is posted by Maestrom7. Posted this.
Oh, good lord.
Lord. I like this a lot. Punchy Bird. People have been talking about in chat this week. I've been seeing. So I hope we get a mental 2Y instead of a melee one, but this is a pretty funny joke in the meantime.
Can we pull up the Playtime the Temtem tweet of the fan art, because Talakai actually has art in there.
Sure, I will. Let me
after the other ones here.
Yeah, remind me just 1 second so you don't have to see me live Google it. Yeah, we'll definitely pull that up. The other thing I had, the last community highlight I had before talking about some guide was This I just put this in last minute because Itsuki commented on it, so this has an official Itsuki stamp of endorsement saying this is crazy useful. Thanks a lot. This was posted by Ragadan Skill, and it's titled PvP Introductions for Each Tem Catered for New Players, reviewed by several experienced and high TMR players. And then if you click on it, wrong click. If you click on it, there we go. So you can find this on the Discord if you're listening and want to find this later. And then they have this whole disclaimer thing about how TV spreads should be unique to what you're doing, and this isn't the Bible, it's just a spread. And then it goes into all these terms, and again, I'm just going to go through this really quickly. I'm not going to read it, but it's a 44-page Google document with, like,
good lord,
as far as I know, every tem in here, or at least every competitive tem, with a little thing written about what you can do with it. And just talks about, like, so if you're brand new to competitive, or you just want to read ideas, like, this is a great starting point. Really amazing resource.
I read through it when I saw you put it up here, and it was... Oh, did I read it when you put it up here or earlier this week? I don't remember.
Wait a minute.
I read through this earlier this week, and it was pretty cool, the amount of information they had on there.
So, literally, there's no Pookie in here. This is literally unreadable. No Pookie.
Hey, Piranha makes it in at least.
Yeah, but Pookie is Z rank, easy.
Let's see, do they have?
But really, this thing is really thorough. There is so much here.
I think it is the final evolved form of every species going through this. Is what it looks like. Is what they did.
Yeah. Made by Rig. #1020 with the help and review of several experienced and high TMR players, mostly from the PDX Guild. What up, PDX? Thanks for helping with this. You guys are fantastic.
Yeah, they talk about roles here at the beginning, all sorts of stuff. So
I'm gonna go grab coffee real quick, by the way.
Yeah, you go right ahead. I'm gonna. So that's. Oh, the last thing I wanted to talk about is Kennedy. You had like a video posted about leveling. And I just, instead of pull up that video or highlight, I saw various guides and videos about certain new features from Kisiwa, so I was just going to mention this myself quick. Oh, someone pulled up the fan art, actually, before we do that. Perfect.
I put it in there. I don't know which one was Talic Eyes.
Yeah, well, no, that's good. Thank you. Let's bring this back up. So this is their normal fan art roundup. And normally, they do this every week, and normally I don't pull it up just because it's already they featured every week, so I want to feature something different. But we can take a quick. Which one is yours, Talakai? Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
I think the Luma scale and the Luma scale and the One Eye Matthew was super duper cool.
This Luma. Oh yeah, that Luma scale is really nice. That's sweet. I think that might be my favorite.
Okay. Talakai did the Drakash. The Drakash was great too.
This one, the heat up with the tack up. Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Alrighty. Like I said, I gotta keep us moving along here for time though. So really quick. This is just like a lot of people had guides about this. I'm just gonna throw this out for our listeners and viewers. If you don't know about it, the old spot to level up Thames was the Crystal Shrine. The new spot is either at the Earth Shrine or the Water Shrine. Both of them are very good. It just depends on which Thames you have that can knock them out quicker. If you go to the Water Shrine, you're going to fight Platymuses. And so Wind Thames do really well. I specifically was using a Voloran and a 2Y, but I think any Grandpa, any 2Y Evolution, Voloran all do well. The Platymuses hold turn the first turn, so if you can outspeed them, you can kill them on the second turn before they do anything, so you can farm infinitely with a Voloran. Hyperconnect Strike will one-shot one. So you can do, like, I did like Voloran 2Y, double attacking into one, kill it, and then Voloran Hyperconnect Strike the second one, kill it. They don't do any damage to me, you get a crap ton of experience, you use a Coward's Cloak. The Earth Shrine, people are using Ukamas with the Hydraulics trait. You can kill the Earth Thames there. It's the four-armed guy, I believe. It's great experience. Depends what you have for perfect Thames. I will say that the Earth Shrine, each one you knock out gives 4 attack base. So if you have Proteins, 8 attack. So if you have to TV train and you want to level up Thames, if you're TV training attack, go to the Earth Shrine. The Water Shrine gives 2 special attack, 2 speed. It's not as convenient since it's spread, but a lot of times probably want both special attack and speed TVs, so you can also do some of your TV training and leveling up at the same time there as well. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I got a bunch, but I'll try and be quick on it.
Yeah.
For the Earth Shrine, it's worth noting too, 2i spawns at both of these locations, and 2i gives it 1 attack SV, so you can just go ham at the Earth Shrine and just know 100% of the SVs you'll get will be attack. The other thing that last week when we were having this conversation, Gaijin mentioned that one of his viewers kept getting weirdly a little bit more divided XP from the Zinarath Shrine. And I said I was going to test it out and look into it this week. I got more EXP from the Earth and Water Shrine, but I think probably what was happening was there might have been training different Tims in different places. And if you get experience on a Tim that you traded from somebody that doesn't have your OT, it gets 10% more experience. Whereas if you kill a Tim, if you get experience on a Tim that does have your OT, it gets the regular amount of experience. So they might have had traded Tims at one place and then untraded at the other. But I got more experience from the Earth Shrine and Water Shrine.
Are they the same, the Earth and Water Shrine experience, or was there a difference at all?
Yeah, from what I saw, they were the same 2,000, or rather 3,000 cut in half.
Okay, so it's really just about whatever you can kill faster or without taking damage from, based on the Tims you have. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been up to this week. I think we talked about it a little bit already at the top of the show. Kennedy, you said you were losing matches for Gaijin, but you have a new team. You want to talk about your new team?
Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, I'll talk about my new team. I did a lot this week. I played a bunch of ranked this week, and then I TV trained and leveled Tims so much. Plus OP ran 2 tournaments yesterday at the time of recording this on Friday. He ran 2 tournaments, and then Temporium's running a tournament on Sunday, and I wanted to compete in at least 2 out of the 3 tournaments. So I was like rushing to get Tims to level 58 this week, and 20 minutes before Plus's tournament, I had a whole 58 team. But I ended up casting Plus's tournament rather than playing in it. So I'm going to play in the Temporium tournament, and but casting Plus's tournament.
Real quick, will you list off what your 8 Tims of your team is, or is it a big secret?
Oh, no. I'll list it off because I'm still adjusting my team, trying to get things working. Yeah. So I have a mix. I have an Adore. Well, actually, I will list it, but I'm going to put the Tims onto the thing so you can show it on stream if you want.
Okay.
All right. So I got a mix, a Doroboros, a Mushuk, a Volfi, a Gazuma, a Voloran, a Gario, and a Kenu. This is a budget burglar team. It's not all of the Tims I want. It's all of the Tims I could afford.
What is budget? So, what does burglar mean?
Burglar on Volfi is considered the bad trait as far as like Team Elusive is so amazing. But burglar itself is still a really, really ridiculously good trait. Volfi just has 2 great traits. So the whole team's built around getting as many exhausts off as possible. And a really bulky Volfi that can keep burgling items.
And that disables their gear then, okay.
Yeah, because like if you can get rid of a sweatband on a Sterneef, the Sterneef's useless, you know?
Or that pesky energy drink.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see, this is kind of a tournament team for once you get a feel for the items that each team's running. Trying to get rid of those items and, playing around them. I'm having some problems with it on ladder, so I'm just flexing around with a couple of things. And my ladder team's looking real different from my tournament team.
How are you liking the autonomy trait, where it gives the evasion for 2 turns?
Gario is the coolest Tim in the world on paper. Until you put it into a game, and it's just like it doesn't. It sucks right now that Earthbreaker is bugged out. And then it also, the autonomy, it's nice to get that free swap in and the free ability to heal something.
Can we pause for a second? I haven't looked super close at Earthbreaker, so if you don't mind, I just pulled up the move. Can I read out what it does, just so people are aware?
Go for it.
It's a 3-hold Earth move that has a synergy with Electric, which is fascinating. It's Water, Earth Tem, and it synergizes with an Electric Tem. But it's a 28 stamina for 120 damage with 2 arrow priority, so normal priority. And then if you have it with an Electric Tem, the damage goes up to 150, and the enemy team is seized for 2 turns, which disables their items, right? Is that what seize does?
Yes.
So if you can get 3 turns off and then use this with an Electric Tem, like your Gazuma, I assume, you disable both of their items for 2 turns, and it does a lot of damage. So what were you just saying about Earthbreaker? You had an issue with it or something.
Yeah, it's bugged right now, so it's supposed to damage the whole team. It's a single target ability currently. When you use it, it's only going to hit them.
I didn't even see that.
Until they
it's an AoE team. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, and then the other problem is when you pair it with an electric type, it's actually weaker because it changes the typing of the move from typing as an earth move to typing as an electric move. And so Gary loses its
That's annoying.
And so it's just like Gario on paper, you look at the Tem and you're just like, this thing's a monster. If I can handle nature threats, I'll take everything out. And then it just doesn't.
As much as we could go deep on this and talk about this team all episode, but I want to go. We maybe do this as a future topic. So all I want to say in clothing on this, and I'll kind of keep moving along, is it's interesting that autonomy giving you that evasion for 2 turns. I was thinking like a 3-hold turn, like you have to really be out there for a while. But the fact that it comes with evasion, knowing that it'll be safe for probably at least 1 turn, that's kind of nice in theory. That could help you get up to where you can actually use Earthbreaker eventually. I mean, did that help? It last long enough to get off, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've used Earthbreaker before with it. I just haven't killed anything yet. Yeah, and I'm fully invested in attack.
It's really annoying that it doesn't hit both Tems, but yeah.
Yeah.
For me this week, I got a Luma and Psypark and 30 encounters right away. So I'm very excited to turn that into a Cerneve. Very excited. That's the first time I've ever gotten a fast Luma, and I've been waiting for so long to be that guy that gets like a Luma right away. So super excited about that. I'm on the hunt for a Pajero now. I still haven't gotten it, but I'm gonna go hard today and tomorrow. I've never gotten 2 Lumas in a week. I want this to be the first week. I started selling Lumafert. I started breeding Lumas for eggs and selling the eggs for profit. Me and Gaijin teamed up with Tateru and Scale. And I've just been leveling up at the Water Shrine as well. The final thing I was going to just really quick mention in this section is I officially created a TemTalk club in-game. So there is a TemTalk club you can join if you haven't joined a club yet and you want to. Here's our banner. I got it pulled up. Me and Kennedy and Muzz were in Discord for like an hour, slowly tweaking different colors and logos and backgrounds. And I'm very, very, very proud of our final banner. So I got to show it off quick on stream. For those watching, it's the melee fist with this nice teal color and yellow around it, and this purple and black wave behind it. So if you want to join, hit me up in game. Email temtalkshow@gmail.com or join my Discord and ask someone to send you an invite. So there's a TemTalk club. Gaijin, I'm sure you still have some spots left in your club as well. If someone are interested in that as well, you have lots of options, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I've got like 25, 26 slots left still.
Guys, anything else you're up to this week that you didn't already mention, or can we keep moving
my
along?
giant Kisiwa giveaway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna grab coffee. I'll be right back.
My giant giveaway. Tell us about it, but I'm gonna not listen to you. Okay, Vonlin.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, so I did my giant Kisiwa giveaway this week. I gave away the Luma 2i again, and I gave away tons of other Lumas, perfect Tems, and Luma eggs, as well as some perfect Tem eggs. And it took, it was like 6 or 7 hours of just doing the giveaway. because people kept donating more items to give away. So I had a really good time, but I think I gave away in total like probably at bare minimum it was $6 million in Pansons worth of Temtem. Easy. It was probably more along the lines of 8, probably not 10, but it was a lot. But it was really cool, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that one showed up, and two just gave extra stuff or just helped me with the giveaway in the first place. A lot of people did end up giving me Temtem specifically for that giveaway as well. So thank you guys so much. This community is amazing, and you guys are the reason I want to keep giving back. So thank you guys, and appreciate you.
Yeah, I shout out the Temtem community all the time on my Twitter, even though I'm supposed to be like a D&D content creator. Like the Temtem community is the greatest community I've ever been a part of. I think of people like Dave Gablino and Subaki and Rishi, who are all of these like super amazing, high skill, high level players. And they're just so incredibly nice and giving,
very
and
down to
polite and willing, to help. Like Dumaga,
Dumaga wants to help train me.
Yeah, I was going to say Dumaga's the co-leader of Enigma, which is arguably like one of the best or top 3 clans right now inside of Temtem. And Dumaga was like on your stream of just like, yo, let me lend you some Tims, let me help you out with this team.
Awesome.
So I love this community. Like part of the main reason why I'm here for Temtem is for the game. Like the game is well designed and I love the combat system, but just like the other reason why I'm still here and playing every week is just like all of these awesome freaking people to play with and enjoy it with.
I came to catch monsters. I stayed because this community captured my heart.
Jeez. Oh, hold on, wait, Daijin, you just gave me diabetes. I'll be right back. I'm kidding.
Speaking of the great community, let's move towards the community events and tournaments. But before we do, we have a quick stop at our game suggestion idea factory. I didn't put any ideas in there. I just wanted to shout out something that changed that I've loved. It's such a small change, and it's been one of my favorite changes, and it's so simple and so silly. But I love that with Kisiwa, you can rebind hotkeys finally. I know some people play with controllers. It's not a big deal. I'm a keyboard and mouse PC master race for life. And so that I can finally rebind the run key from 8 to a key closer to WASD has made Luma hunting so much better for me. I know it's silly. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's such a nice quality of life for me. It's honestly one of my favorite things from Kisiwa, which is, it sounds lame, but it is. So do you guys have any game suggestion ideas, things you want to see changed or tweaked quickly? Otherwise, we'll go talk about community events.
Things that need to be changed.
If not, that's okay. We got plenty to talk about the next one. But...
We could work on removing Vonlin from the game.
No,
I think that would be a good change.
No, yeah. I feel like the devs have a healthy amount of stuff on their plate. If you look at the bug fixing forums, let them be.
I would say I got nothing to throw out except for appreciation of changes that got implemented, which is the hotkey thing. I was teasing people in my stream saying the best change and my favorite part of Kisiwa was this change, which I'm partially being tongue in cheek, but I'm actually also partially being honest. With that said, community events, tournaments. Before you go, Kennedy, do you guys have time to go a little bit later than normal? We have 23 minutes left normally. Do you guys have extra time? It depends how much time Kennedy gets to talk about this stuff. I can stick around for once. I don't have to run.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, all right, Kennedy.
I looked at the notes document. I was like, this is a 2-hour episode.
I know, it is a 2-hour episode. And for once, I don't have to run anywhere right away. So we can go over an hour and a half if we have to. So with that said, Kennedy, where do you want to start with the tournaments this week?
There were so many tournaments. I'm just going to start at the top and go straight down.
Okay, I'm going to follow along on Battlefly with you. So you're starting with Sapphire?
Okay. So the first tournament that happened this week was on Tuesday. Blue Sapphire through the first of his bi-weekly tournaments.
For those that don't know, Blue Sapphire, speed player. We've had him on the show, friend of the show, great guy. it's like episode, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something. We had him on as a guest, maybe a little bit later than that. But go check it out if you don't know who he is. Continue.
Yeah, Blue's super cool. He threw the Sapphire series tournament number 1. And these tournaments were really, really interesting because there's one community agreed upon rule each tournament that's going to happen in the top 8. And so this was the first of them. And the rule for this tournament was that all of the top 8 matches were the best of 3. And in between games, or in between those games of, if you won one, you could switch items on your Tims and swap items around
between
and then go into the
matches. Okay.
And then go into the next game with a different item spread.
So you could lose and be like, okay, I'm going to switch my items around.
Yes.
Oh, that's
so
really cool.
There was just like a passive amount of information you always gain from just beating your opponent.
Right.
But every game was like incredibly fresh and really, really cool. So as the tournament goes on, more and more of these rules are going to be agreed upon and added in, which
really
will
cool.
be interesting to see.
Yeah.
For the first tournament, Dave Goblino won. Dave Goblino had a heck of a showing. He brought Gaialis, and people were expecting Gaialis to be dead and not useful anymore without heat up. But Gaialis with double gash, hook kick, and its tanky, beefy typing allowed it to stay on the field and just put out so much heavy pressure. Dave pretty much tempoed his way into the victory seat of the first tournament. So definitely go watch that video. I was lucky enough to be able to cast with Blue, and it was a really, really fun cast.
You want to talk about the graphic for it?
Yeah. Moving on from there, there's a member of the TemTem community named OIProx, who I wanted to shout out, who is now collecting information from all of the TemTem tournaments. And they're putting out really cool graphics of TemTem usage and TemTem usage and who has been helpful, who hasn't been helpful, and just cool things about the Tims. Originally, this was shared in Plus OP's Discord. But then people have been sharing it in the Temporium Discord, so definitely join one of those two and you'll be able to see these. He's going to be doing these for the Temporium tournaments too. Voloran either had 100% pick or ban rate for every game. There was a Voloran on everybody's team.
Pause right there. It's just so you're not monologuing. I think it's so funny that we're all like, win mana, Earth Tems are going to trash it, win mana will be dead. Voloran's still the best Tem. It was used all the time before, it's still being used all of the time.
We didn't say that the wind meant that the Earth was going to trash it, because Earth is not resistant to wind, so it doesn't really have a huge effect since Earth is weak against wind.
The Gaijin resistance battle, I forgot about this. No, you're right. But I think it's a little. I thought Voloran would decrease in usability a little bit. The fact that it was still used and picked by every player is crazy. I think not crazy, but
because it still does massive damage. Like it's still a huge damage dealer.
All right, go on.
Yeah,
you can talk about some of these other ones.
So the two things that I'll pick off of this, and then I'll move on, that were really surprising. So Kenu right now is pretty much like top of the line. Kenu eats so many bans.
Yeah.
You have to find something, and it's ridiculously hard to, but you need so much pressure and tempo on your team to bait out a ban in order for your Kenu to get through. I've played probably about 5 or 6 ranked games this week, and I've used a Kenu in one of those games. But yeah, the stats right there saying Kenu was the most banned Temtem of the tournament.
So this is
goes without saying.
I want to pause here. This is really interesting. So Kenu had the second highest usage at 87%, and Voloran had that 100%. But Kenu was banned 75% of the time, whereas Voloran was only banned 18% of the time. So despite Voloran being so popular, people do not think it's worth banning Voloran. Like, people think they have answers and plans for it, where Kenu, they're like, get out of here every time. So that's
because Kenu is support. Kenu plays a lot of support and can cause a lot of problems. Where Voloran, it does a lot of damage or can be really tanky and still do a good amount of damage. It's just a sweeper. People have come up with strategies to deal with that. It's a lot harder to predict what Kenu is going to buff or assist, so it makes more sense to get that out of the way.
Yeah. No, I agree. You never feel bad about banning Kenu. I'm not a high-level player, but when I'm looking at a pick and ban, I know Kenu's always a safe ban. I'm like, whatever strategy they're going for, whether I can figure that or not, I know that them not having Kenu will hurt that strategy, right? Same like Kenu's always an easy pick. You're like, what do I pick? What do I want to do this game? I'm not sure. I can pick Kenu and I'll be happy. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I had to do for my ladder team was I had to rework my whole ladder team just so Kenu can get through the ban process. But yeah, the last thing I'll comment on this, and then I'll move on to the next tournament.
I want to hit up all these. Yeah, I want to hit up all these. These are all interesting. So go ahead through all of them.
Okay, Mashuk had the worst performance, which is really interesting because Wardrum, Gyalis, Wardrum plus Gyalis plus Tuvine plus Skunch plus Moflink are pretty much the most popular leads. All of those physical attackers, you put a perfect jabber with them, and they just go ham grabbing tempo at the start of the game. And you would think the best thing to handle, very high tempo physical attackers is the best physical tank in the game, which would be Mashuk. Right. But Mashuk actually had the worst performance and the worst win rate out of the 10s.
22% win rate only with Mashuk. And no one ever, 0% banned. So no one banned Mashuk and only won 22% of the matches. Which again, we were kind of a little bit wrong about this because we were plugging up Mashuk in our speculation pre-Kisiwa patch. We're like, Mashuk will still be good. And Mashuk still is good, but not as good as everyone thought, including us apparently.
Yeah, I mean, people still think Mashuk is good. People still like Mashuk.
Right. But it's not actually performing in this one sample. It is one tournament only, but in this one sample, it didn't actually perform. I don't think it performed as well as we all think it would.
The problem is, I think you have to run... Nobody was running Tenderness Mashuk. I think you have to run Tenderness now with how many physical attackers there are that can't buff their physical attack, like Gyalis, Skunch, and Moflink. The problem is Tuvine is the other really dominant threat, in which if you run Tenderness against a Tuvine, it's a dead move. Tuvine's got Determined, and its physical attack can't be lowered.
If I may, I like this is funny. I'm really happy that Grumper got dead weight. Grumper was... This number's how many games? I think 11 games people had a Grumper on their team. And it got 54% of the time it wasn't picked, and its usage was only at 37%. So a lot of people thought they were going to bring Grumpers and use Grumpers. Didn't end up being used, and I say I like this because I really don't like Grumper or its first stage. What's the name of its first stage? I'm blanking, but it's the one that when we were doing our
Rumble.
Yeah, when we were doing our playthrough, you were just hating on the look of it.
It's something. It's something.
Yeah, I'm happy it's got its dead weight. But best performance, we're going to talk about Moflink in our main topic when we eventually get there.
Moflink is king at this point.
66.6% win rate. Not only is Moflink killing it in the tournament, but I think Goaty, as far as this is completely subjective, but Goaty is what I'm seeing most people think is the cutest new favorite tem of the new Kisiwa tems. So you got the cute first stage and the big evolved form doing the work in the competitive theme. Might be one of the more popular tems in both competitive and casual players. What do you think about it in the tournament so much, Kenny? I don't know. We'll talk about it more, but why did it do so well?
Moflink is ridiculously good, and I'll tell you exactly why it does so well. You start Skunch Moflink on the field, and Skunch perfect jabs, and then Moflink turn 1 base jumps, which has a huge amount of damage. You give it the resistance badge, you give it it already has stab, and Moflink just starts running away with the game at the start. And by the time you're able to answer Moflink, it can bring your tanks into execution range, which is a move which, if it hit, it's a little light damage move. If the damage calculation of the move finishes and the Tem is under 40% HP, they are instantly reduced to 0 HP and are knocked out. Yeah, and Moflink has 2 priority moves. It has Goring, which is a high priority move, and then Pickpockets also ran, which is a +4 priority move. So it is, it gets really hard to deal with. Very quickly.
We should mention its win rate is kind of skewed. because it was only in 5 games and its usage was only 25%. So it didn't get a lot of attention in pick and bans, but when it did get played, it did well. So did Dave Goblino have a Moflank? Is that why the win percentage is so high?
I don't remember if Dave had a Moflank off the top of my head. I do.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember in this set. I can comment on this when we get to pluses tournaments.
Sure.
But the reason why Moflank probably has that skewed percentage is because you run double mentals now. So a mental type of Tim gets through the pick and ban phase because you have Size Munch, you have Moflank, and you have Scunch, who are just monster attackers who you're pretty much going to see on most teams. And if you don't have 2 mentals, the strategy is ban the mental, run 2 of those 3 Tims, and then it's almost a guaranteed win.
I'll say this in closing, and we'll move on to the next one. But you're talking about Scunch. We'll point out it had 62% usage and a 56% win rate. So Scunch, along like you were just saying, did well. And I want to really quickly point out Gyalis. I've been watching Gyalis personally since, Gyalis was so dominant. It had these big changes. The question is it still good or not? It still had 37% usage in 14 games and a 60% win rate, so a respectable showing with Gyalis. I would say that this one graphic's a little hard to read. I can't quite make out some of these numbers, but the other graphic we're going to do has some better quality, so we'll be able to read it better. So anything else on this, Larry? Can I move you along to the next one?
I was going to say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think also the reason we might not see as many Moflanks is because it's still relatively new and some players might not really be comfortable using it.
Right. We're still breeding and TV training.
Hard to say. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people throw in Tems that they aren't entirely comfortable with either, but I'm wondering if maybe that might have a factor, but they have had time to test and stuff like that too. So that might not entirely be the case, but it's a possibility.
So this other graphic, moving on to the plus weekly number 20. We covered the weekly number 20 last week, but OI Props put out the graphic like one, Monday or Tuesday.
Much easier to read, so please do follow this color scheme in the future.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there for anybody who wanted to see it. But we talked about the tournament already last week.
Yeah, black on gray, not
great. Not great. So I'll just quickly summarize this, Kenny, since I don't want to go quite as much detail. Again, Volan had a 100% usage rate. Again, we saw worse performance from Mushuk, so now it's from 2 different tournaments we've seen that. Best performer is that Scunch there. Instead of it being the Moflank, it's the Scunch, but we're still seeing those physical, normal melee attackers do well. Well, wait, is Godey's moves melee? I shouldn't say melee necessarily, but physical, normal attackers.
Yeah, physical, normal.
Dead weight was Tarok, had 75% unpicked, so someone was running a lot of Taroks and ended up using it. Again, Kenu had that top ban. So we're seeing 3 trends here. Kenu banned, Volan played a lot, Mushuk being played a lot but not doing well. Moflank did show up more in this. It had 32% users in 15 games, and it still had a 66% win rate. So it's not that Moflank did any worse. It's just that Scunch did even better. Played in 17 games with a 75% win rate. Man, that is crazy. Interesting. I mean, Kenny, what else do you got? Anything else off this graphic that I didn't talk about?
No. Yeah, that's everything for me.
That's crazy. I love this because these graphics are amazing because when we normally talk about these tournaments, I kind of get lost in the brackets and what you're talking about. I'm a very visual person. Being able to see the meta and these stats make it much more fun for me to look at what's happening, analyze, and talk about it. So thank you for this. What's the name of the person that puts this out one more time?
OI Process.
Oh, yeah, I see it up here. OI Process. Please keep doing it. I love it. You want to talk about plus a week, the weekly 21?
Yeah, so these happened last night as far as our time of recording, so they're a lot more fresh in my mind.
Friday night.
Friday night, Tiki Book won the weekly number 21 tournament. So this was our 3rd tournament to happen inside of Kisiwa. People have had time to prepare their teams.
We just talk about
play around with strategy.
Over 300 people were watching this tournament. I mean, we talked about a raid helped with that, but regardless, just as a stat, I love seeing a TemTalk tournament with that kind of record views. I hope that keeps up. I really want to see it be healthy.
Yeah,
I want it to be a spectator sport.
I mean, we are going to see a decent amount of viewers for a while, but we have to be realistic. It's gonna fall off again. Like where people are gonna come for Kisiwa, they're gonna come for the competitive. We're gonna find a new meta. People are gonna get bored with it.
Gaijin, why you
and
gotta
then
be our
it's
negative
gonna fall
Nancy?
off.
Can we just ride our Cloud9 for a couple more weeks?
Manage expectations. I mean, be realistic here. We're not going to have 300 weekly viewers for every single competitive tournament. It's unfortunately going to go back down. It's going to be a little while, but you know, it's still really cool to see this many people back in the scene. It's really cool to see this many people watching and, you know, coming in and chatting in these channels. Like it's really amazing, and it's super cool. I'm really hoping that we see Plus get partner. We'll see.
He's on track now.
I think he's, well, because it's not just you know, it's not just, hey, all of a sudden this week I have this many viewers.
For the whole month.
Like, you have to be consistent, which Plus is usually right around 75 anyway. I know it was a little bit lower for a couple of weeks, but so we'll see. You know, if he can keep it up, and you know, we keep the viewership for a little while longer, I think Plus might be the first like
dedicated
Temtem streamer that is a partner. I know we've had a couple people that came in and streamed, but they also left. So, you know.
No, I agree. We're not going to see the record numbers every week, but what I do think we will see is I think the competitive scene will be healthier with more Tems and be able to last longer than it did before. I think more people will be interested.
It's going to get the meta settled. Like, there's going to be specific Temtem that people will be using every single week. Sure, there's more Temtem, but Temtem are being replaced now. There are obviously better Tems.
Can't let me have any positive light, huh? You can't let anything go through?
I don't know. I would stand to argue against that, as far as like, I feel even in the win meta, like when we were in the win meta, people are just like, oh, win meta's, you know, stale. This is the way it's played. But the thing about Temtem is there is no RNG. You know what your opponent's strategy is. It doesn't matter if you're running the best strategy. There are still ways to counter it. Whereas, like, if you look at the World Cup for Tsubaki-chan, like, that was amazing. The team he ran was a checkmate team to the win meta. So it was like, if you were running the win meta team, because these are the best teams to run, he picked Valash Gyalis, and it was a checkmate every single time, where the tempo overturned, you know, the ability to control the game with Wind Hypnosis. I mean, and then his team didn't do great into other teams, but when people were playing the Wind team, he kicked their butt. And that's to me the signs of a healthy meta, where it's like there are multiple team comps that you can bring, and depending on what the other person is playing, is going to depend on how well you do, rather than this is just being the best team. And I think that even now we're going to have answers consistently to, I think Moflank and Skunch is the best start anybody can have right now. But I think Moflank and Skunch is a really easy answer, because as long as you have 2 or 3 mental Tems on your team, you are going to deal with that start really, really well and always kill one of them, even as they take down one of your Tems. And if you kill one of them, that combo is kind of like negated out. And then because you have 3 mental Tems on your team now, that brings up a whole other option of just how hard it is for you to deal with Crystal Tems, which means now Crystal striking DPS teams of Gyalis, Tuvine, Mix are really, really great. And so you have a whole wealth of teams right now. We're not really settled on what's going to be the best. And I think for a long time, we're going to see these 3 types of teams trading places easy peasy.
I mean, for a long time, we saw competitive teams switching plays. Like, we had multiple different metas, and it's going to continue to happen, but there will be obviously better Temtem, and they will be chosen a lot. And a lot of people will use the same strategy a lot. That a meta by definition is exactly that. Repetition. And it all comes down to reading your opponent and outmaneuvering them, expecting what they're going to be doing, and utilizing that against them. And you're right, there is no RNG in competitive here. It all comes down to skill. It all comes down to a little bit of luck on your end, by your skill, your read following through, like making that read and doing the right thing and hoping that they make that change. And there will be multiple different metas we'll see, but there's ultimately going to be one that's settled on for a while, just like the wind meta was or the hypnosis meta was. It's
Yeah,
it'll be settled for a while, but it'll change.
Again, I'm gonna say right now the meta is going to be pretty heavy on these powerful physical threats. And if you're not running 2 mental Tims on your team, you are going to have a hard time. So that's what I'll just leave that discussion at that, and we can come back to it in a couple weeks time.
I was just going to say,
but let's move on to the plus weekly number.
Exactly.
21.
I want to get lots of time for our main topic. So let's cover this plus cup 5 as well.
Yeah. All right. So the weekly 21 Tiki Book won the tournament last.
Yeah.
Which was he had some really, really crazy plays. Uwakazi was actually using a really cool team and got to the finals with a team that had 0 Kisiwa Tims. And Kapire was his main lead. And Kapire was, oh my gosh, that Tim has been buffed out of the wazoo with getting Flaming Meteoroid. And the final game was the final couple games were almost down to the wire. What happened is Uwakazi did not have 2 mental Tims on his team. He had 1 mental Tim, and I think it was Kenu actually that he was running. It was either Kenu or Mix. And Tiki Buck banded out, first pick Skunch Moflank, and ran away with the first game. Uwakazi did great in the second game, finding out the areas to answer that Skunch Moflank and banding out the perfect jabbers of it. And took a very measured approach to the second game and won. And then finally, the third game, again, Uwakazi answered with stopping the perfect jabbers from getting through for free. But Tiki Book was running a size munch, and everybody says self-esteem is the bad trait. Tiki Book had some crazy calculations 2 times in a row throughout the series with size munch living with 2% HP from things where it was supposed to die from poison and burn ticks. But every time it knocks out a Tim, with self-esteem, it clears all the conditions on it. And I was like, this is a garbage ability. Why would anybody end in the way Size Punch was able to keep living on just a sliver of HP by knocking out Tims who were just like, oh yeah, it's dead. Let me not answer this. So Size Punch self-esteem, pretty daggone good, especially when it's dealing with a lot of special attackers where it doesn't even need the defense.
Let me move you right into the second tournament that Plus did, because I know that we're going to talk about both these tournaments more next week once we have the graphics. I don't want to go too deep into them.
Speaking of Uwakaze, they were here in chat. Adhikar is also here too. So, what's up, comp players? Congratulations on your matches, by the way.
Shout out to Adhikar. Anybody watching this video live, go back and look at the discussion that was happening about Skunch and Move Blank. I was reading it, or rather skimming it as you guys were talking. But yeah, so some of the players actually that played in this monthly tournament, Plus has a monthly tournament. This one was invitational only, where you had to beat or do high in the weeklies. And if you did well in the weeklies, you got an invite to play in this tournament. So these were some of really great players. Tsubaki-chan was actually back playing yesterday too in tournament, so it was good to see them playing. And the winner of this was Marnie Farmer. Marnie Farmer actually used a Hori-Wart Moflank in the finals, which netted them some really good plays. I actually have to go back and finish watching all of the brackets. I watched the opening brackets of this, and I didn't see the in-between matches. But shout out to Adhikar. Adhikar used a on notice Moflank, and I just think Moflank is super duper powerful, and there's a great Tim we're going to see in the meta. But I think one of the more important things was not the Moflank, but speed control with the Rise ended up netting quite a bit of mileage yesterday for Adhikar in the opening match. But Gold was able to pull through. Enigma got through to the top 8, but we didn't take this one. So as 2 tournaments we missed yesterday.
To wrap up this section, what was the Return of the Temporium Weekly? Why don't you let people know about what's going on with Temporium's tournaments now?
Oh, yeah. All right. So final thing, as far as tournaments go, the Temporium is hosting tournaments again. We are doing single elimination tournaments. There's not going to be Swiss rounds, so these are going to be a little bit quicker. And this week's tournament is happening this week's tournament's happening Sunday, the 2nd of August. There is no entry fee as far as Pansun, so definitely get in and compete. $100 prize pool. If you compete in it, you have a chance to go at this prize pool. Single elimination. It's going to be fun going through the brackets. As far as any other rulings, no item switches and no team switches after you submit it. So pretty much bog standard in that. But I cannot wait to... I'm going to be competing in this. So I don't even know if I should tell you to compete because you're gonna have to go.
And the best way to sign up for that is at Battlefly or somewhere else, or in their Discord.
Yeah, join. Just type !Discord right now in the chat, and the Temporium Discord will come up. Join the Discord. You can get the role for tournaments, and then just click the Battlefly, and it's easy peasy.
All right, I want to give us a healthy chunk of time to talk about some of the stuff in the main topic. So let's move on to our main topic of the week. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I played the violin music, so I was letting that play. I don't think I'm playing Discord today. So this is my spoiler disclaimer. We're going to start talking about spoilers for the story. So if you have not beat Kisiwa, now's the time to close the video, close Twitch, or mute us, whatever. But for the rest of the episode, we're going to be in spoiler territory. Hopefully, we've waited long enough that I don't think most people will be worried about it. But
yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, this is your chance in case somehow you haven't. So the main topic, I want to split into two areas here, and we try to keep it in like 20-ish minutes or so 10 minutes to each. The first half being just talking about the Kisiwa story, what happened, our thoughts. And the second half, we've pulled out 4 temp-temps from Kisiwa that we really want to take a closer look at now that we're a week and a half into this or 2 weeks into it. So starting with the story, I kind of bullet pointed out the 3-4 areas. Just before we get too far into it, right away, the Max battle. How'd you guys do in the Max battle? How did you like seeing Max again? We all beat him the first time, I hope. Did anyone lose to Max?
No, I haven't lost to Max since the very first battle. Like, that was it.
Wait, his name's Max? I thought his name was Mop, because that's what I cleaned the floor with.
Burning Max.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. I didn't lose to Max either. It was really cool though, seeing him come back with his Luma Barmshi.
I feel like Max is always like battles traditionally, they kind of pop out with you. You're not expecting. You might have wounded Tem. So I was like Tem vesseling and healing constantly, so I had a full health team ready to go. Easy mop up for sure as well. So the more exciting thing is afterwards, for everyone that's played through it, of course, knows by now, General X pushes Max over the side of the railing and quotations as someone added into the gulag, kills him. We don't know if he's actually dead, but the story's told as if he was murdered and is dead. So away, Gaijin, your speculation is he's not really dead. But before the death...
Max has Barnshi, dude. Barnshi can fly. Barnshi is a big old burb. I mean, you have Barnshi go up and with the camera thing and take pictures and stuff like that. I mean, Max has Temtem that could assist in preventing their death. So it's hard to say.
I agree. I agree that he might have been saved by that. Or maybe he fell down to the down below and we go down there and pick him up and we visit the down below in between or something.
Fox Mulder 34 says, Gaijimbu, I saw your live reaction when Max got pushed. It was Pog. I was shocked. So, I did not expect that coming. I didn't see it at all. Like I wasn't planning on something like that happened. I didn't expect it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden General X is just like yeet. And I'm like, what just happened?
I'm so envious of you because I wanted to have that. I wanted to experience it out of not knowing, but 2 different people spoiled to me that Max dies. And I'm like, and all of these people knew I hadn't played the story, knew I wasn't trying to watch stuff. So I'm actually legitimately upset with the people that spoiled that because it was such a huge moment.
Yeah, let me just go out real quick. If it's like the first couple days of games out, don't go into people's streams and spoil crap. Like if you want to talk about something like this, do it in Discord. Do it somewhere else, but don't spoil it for somebody playing through the story. That's not cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I was very
come
upset
on.
because I would have loved to have been shocked. But like when General X and Max started talking, I was like, "Oh, is this it? Is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen?" And then when it happened, all that I felt was anger that I knew this was already happening, instead of the shock and surprise. With that said,
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for redemption stories. I love redemption stories. I love that Max came around. I like that he was being so villainous. I kind of suspected that he might redeem himself, and he did right at that last moment, maybe quote-unquote last moment. So I was very excited about that. I was very happy to see Max waking up and not being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm a huge into redemption arcs. Like,
Yeah.
always. Like, I always want to see the good in people, and no matter how bad people are, I feel like they can always be better people. Like, sure, we've all made bad decisions in our life, and there's something that every single one of us regrets and wish we could take back. Like, and seeing
It's a human
redemption
experience.
arcs, like, yeah, it's a very human experience. And to see Max like starting to wake up and be like, nah, man, that's not
Right.
cool. I don't want to be
I mean,
involved in that.
he's a really young kid. Like, our characters are supposed to be like, what, probably 12, 13, maybe 16 at the most. Like,
Oh yeah, very impressionable,
Yeah.
very easy to manipulate somebody at that age. And I mean, and it happens in the real world. I mean, a lot of people get taken advantage of and manipulated into doing things that they think are right, but they aren't really right. Like, it's basically like every single superhero movie. Every villain is
Yeah.
doing something that they think is right, even when it's not. Like, for them it's right.
With Max, I love that their reason to be with Bel Soto was the freedom that Bel Soto granted them,
Quote unquote.
and and where like their redemption started for me was like that empathy of just like, wait a second, and Max realizing, there's the freedom in Kisiwa is like slowly being crushed, and killing people is wrong, and it's going too far, and like they can't just chase their freedom now. I thought that was a really cool place to start like the comeback redemption arc for Max of just like, oh man, he's
Well,
Yeah.
and with the dialogue options there for me, so I was just like, they're misguided.
Yeah,
like,
I said the same thing. I was like, he was my friend.
They're a jerk, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like you guys were saying.
I can't wait to see what happens if.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was saying
we're the worst. You have like a delay in your Discord. I swear. I'm gonna be quiet and let you.
Yeah,
go.
I do. Okay, I'm gonna talk. Yeah. So they were a jerk, but I can't wait to see what happens with Max, and I can't wait to see if they're alive. I think it's really cool if Krema does pull out pull the rug from under our feet and say, "No, look, they're actually dead." And because Temtem's a little bit more of an adult themed game as far as like its humor goes and everything. So if they're actually dead, I would love to see what that does for our character and the turning point. A little note that we don't have in here that is really, really ridiculously cool. When Captain Ture comes with like the narwhal and the weird guy who's been following you around for the whole story is just like, "Hey, daughter, how are you?" Or what's he, 80 or Addie? He calls in. It's like, "Don't call me that, Dad." And I was like, "Wait a second, you're a Kisiwian or a Kisiwan?" And I thought that was just like super duper cool.
Yeah, I liked the whole siege of the city, and like the epicness of like we're clearing out the desert so the airship can come in, and then like when you go into this, you're like, oh man, there's gonna be a bunch of intense battles. Like I was hyped up and like invested in it. It wasn't like sometimes going through some of the routes themselves when it's not super stored. It's like, okay, I just got to grind through all these trainers. Like the first half of Kiss was like, all right, let's just go through this new terrain's beautiful, the music's great, the new Tems are cool, but we're just battling a bunch of trainers out in the open, right? But when I got to that part of the city, I was like, this is hype, this is excited, like I'm on the edge of my seat, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really genuinely had fun playing through it.
Yeah, it was a really good storyline. I like that it dealt with a little bit of a mature topic with, General X being like, you need to kill these people. And then Max being like, nah. And then General X being like, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the story. I'm looking forward to the next bit of the story to see how that turns out. The music and the sounds and everything that they did for Kisiwa was absolutely fantastic, even though the entire end area was bugged for me and had the completely wrong music through every battle except for General X's.
Oh, no.
It was really cool. They did a fantastic job. The music and the sounds were probably one of my favorite parts. A lot of the new Temtem designs were just so good, except for Zizair, fight me. But yeah.
On the General X thing,
Yeah,
I am happy by the time I got to that point in the story, the bug fix came out for all of the cinematics and stuff with him. The General X, like, we've been waiting to talk about this on the show. The General X is probably like the best twist of Kisiwa, of just like, and all of these trainers you're beating, 45, 52 level 10s, and then boom, 4 level 86 Tims that you have to go against.
I was not prepared. I didn't even have level like 52 Tims at that point, so I wasn't even maxed out at 58 on the vast majority of my Tims. I'm just like, Tataru's just gonna carry me through the story, and Tataru did, until all of a sudden, oh, by the way, level 80 mental Tim. What's up, Tataru?
Bye-bye.
No.
It was so much fun fighting General X. So, as the only person who killed General X here, no, I'm kidding. But one of the things that I thought was really cool, when you beat General X, I like his little huff of just like, well, I should have recruited you for Bel Soto. All right, I'm leaving. And it's just like, what?
Yeah,
come on, man.
I haven't seen that, so I'm because I heard that it was glitched and just sent you to the room. So that's what happens afterwards. For those that haven't beat him or don't know, so you can beat him. And there's dialogue for it.
Yeah, he comments. He's just like, oh, I should have recruited you over Max. Well, anyways, I have to go, and he turns and leaves, and it's just like, as I guess you black out as you chase after him. Because for me, it felt appropriate because I was on my last legs on that battle. Like, I knew my whip lump was going to outspeed there, but I didn't know if I had the damage to kill his Tim, and I knocked out his Tim with like my whip lump at 15 HP. Is the last Tim I had in my party. I didn't have any revives. And I was just like, oh my god, I did it.
That's awesome.
And so for me, it made sense where it's like my characters beleaguered and on their last legs. And so it's like he goes away, and then you black out and you wake up in the hotel with Carlos. But I feel like that's scripted, no matter if you lose or if you win, that you just black out and wake up in there.
That's the next
But it wouldn't feel very good if you prepared for this fight and you went in and you wiped the floor with General X. You leave with like all full HP Tims, and then it's just like you black out and wake up. And it's like, what happened? It's like, oh, the fight was so hard, and we found you on the airship docks. And it's like, but I kicked his butt.
I think they need to rework that a little bit. I don't think you should black out. I think like Carlos should come up and get you and be like, all right,
hey, we need you here quick. Yeah,
let's reorganize or whatever, like something different than that. I don't think blacking out should happen if you win against General X. That doesn't make much sense.
The one thing that we didn't talk about, I like that one. We saw a higher level villain in General X above Lady Lot.
Actually, one more second. Kennedy, did the dialogue with Carlos change? Do you know? Because Ken asked, and he. I mean, I'm genuinely curious as well. I don't know what the dialogue was like with Carlos after.
As far as like the dialogue, I don't remember.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'm trying. Yeah, like So for me, I think my dialogue was all types of screwy because there's a book in the back of the giant banyan tree that you get when you. Yeah. And I forgot to get that book.
No.
But I first. Well, no, I forgot to get that book when I first beat the giant banyan tree. So I went and talked to Carlos at the dojo. And then, he left to go to his next place. And then I went back and got the proteins in the book. And then, I had that journal going into when I woke up, I had the journal on me. And talking to him there, he went through the journal and, found clues in it. I don't know if that was the same for everyone.
What I was gonna say is I like the illusion. I mean, it's not surprising, but I like that they talked about there's a higher level boss in Bel Soto, so we still haven't seen the top dog over there. That they mentioned that in the dialogue with Max, that General X is this new baddie, but there's even a higher level baddie. So if General X,
level 180 Tems.
I was gonna say if General X has level 86 Tems, the boss is probably gonna have level 100 Tems, and probably maybe even have 6 of them. Who knows? I don't know, but it's cool.
Probably maxed out with. I'm guessing it'll probably be decent decent composition as well too.
What do you guys think about the Bel Soto floating fortress? Tell me that's not the coolest thing ever.
So that's obviously one of the islands.
Is my guess. Literally. Yeah, well, I mean, there's 6 airborne archipelago islands, but it's like a It's like a literal moving cloud fortress. That sounds super duper cool. And right now, it's stationed on Sapunku.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool idea. I really like that. I'd like to see what it looks like, which I'm sure we will when we get to the next area. But
who doesn't like a giant villain base floating in the sky, like a castle of doom with some mysterious shadowy Bel Soto boss figure running it? So very cool to look forward to. I like the cool thing about playing Temtem right now with not all the content being out, and I know most players want to wait to play through the story to do it all at once. But the fun thing is this feels very season based, like a TV show, where now we all saw that Max may or may not be dead, and now we're waiting for the next seasons of Game of Thrones to see is Max really dead or not, and we can spend the season debating it, and the same thing about who this boss is and all that. So it is one fun thing about not having all the content available at once is we have the opportunity to sit here and discuss these sorts of things and speculate on them.
Yeah, tune in next week.
next quarter probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think we just because we pushed through so much time on this. I know I want to talk about these Kisiwa Tems, but we've really had fun talking about this, and it's a good thing. I want to kind of bench these 4 till next week, and just let you guys have a few more minutes on this story and closing thoughts about it before we go to the last 2 sections. So, just in general, other things that you guys liked, disliked about the story, or saw, or wished you would have seen. I'll go out the bat. I love rock climbing so much. I love the shortcut on the first island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rock climbing's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's not really rock climbing anymore, though, right?
Yeah, it's like gravity
right.
moving.
Right. Fair.
Some people in chat were speculating that Tahani's an informant for Bel Soto. I think. I don't know about that because Tahani hired Carlos in order to track down and learn stuff about Bel Soto. I think
she tricks you.
Yeah, I know, right? I can be easily duped. But I think that the Kisiwa Island, and as far as the cultures go, and the tribes and the cities, and the people and the dialogue, everything was so ridiculously cool and well done. And I think they did these groups of people such such justice and representation as far as the cultures that they're based off of. I cannot wait to see what Sapunku is like, as far as I feel like Sapunku is going to be a very Japan Neo Tokyo focus island, just how the NPCs
hope so.
Talking about it. I cannot wait to see that. Oh my god, give me Temtem anime inside, because there's the quest to run around in the comic book the Indera series. Give me a Temtem anime Like I want people inside of like the big like anime character suits, like you know how people walk around in Pikachu suits in some parts of Tokyo. Like I want that in Sapunku
It's like
for
some
like
people
Temtem
dressed up as
characters.
Temtems.
Well, not Temtems, but like Temtem fictional characters, like the Indara characters. Like give me Indara
Speaking of anime, did you guys see the Reddit post about how one of the NPCs is an anime character? I think Bleach was it called, the show or the character? I don't have the link handy for me.
Well, there's a lot of them. There's a Legend of Korra reference inside of the Jun Tunnel or Ju Tunnel.
Yes, there is. I wasn't paying too much attention for the Easter eggs. I know there's probably more than just the one, but yeah, Kakashi's in Tukma. That's correct, Zombers. Kakashi's in Tukma. Over waiting for the auction house to open up in Quetzal. Yeah, I didn't notice any others besides that.
Have you guys?
Yeah.
Have you guys cleared the path from Uharu back to the starting way station between the rock climbing?
I don't think. Wait,
or rock hopping.
Where are you talking about?
So, if in Uharu, if you go straight east of Uharu, there's a whole nother area of rock hopping that gets you back to that rock hopping station that leads to Tukma.
Oh, the one right where you come from. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Sapunku. There's a Sapunku. Or no, there's not Sapunku. There's a Amnesia building company surveying the land over there with some really interesting dialogue. But the funniest one I think is the Quetzal guards are just like, we're here for the invasion of Kisiwa, you know, to aid the resistance. And it's like, you guys missed that. And it's like, oh, we got lost. Want to tempt him up?
Wonderful.
No, I didn't see that. I have to go check that out still. Let's move this along here. I want to do our plugs and all of that, but before we do that, I just want to let people know we're adding a new section of the show after the plugs. So if you normally turn off the YouTube video, leave the Twitch channel during this, stay tuned because we're gonna have one more section. But let's go into that real quick. People can find more of us. I have the graphic up, which won't do anything because you can't click on it. But if you're watching live on Twitch, scroll down to the TemTalk podcast in the button panel, and you can find all these links to all of our Twitches, TemTalk on YouTube, Kennedy on YouTube, Twitter, social media, everything's there. I'll just real quick.
You can actually add this to the YouTube video as well. Like the link in the description.
Oh, yeah. You know, I have a link to this in the YouTube descriptions already. Yep. Yeah, there'll be a description of this in YouTube and on the podcast descriptions as well if you're listening on the podcast app. So otherwise, it's youtube.com/c/temtalk. I'm Vonlin, twitch.tv/Vonlin. What about yourself? What about you guys want to talk a little bit about yourselves quick? Where can people find more?
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, I live stream D&D content on YouTube. I'll be live streaming later today. You can find me at youtube.com/c/PresBKennedy. Additionally, you can also find me on Twitter at the same name. I'm trying to tweet a little bit more, but I mostly retweet really cool Temtem content that I see. And my Twitter is the same name, PresBKennedy, PresBKennedy.
And I am It's Gaijinbu on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Discord. I am just It's GAIJINBUU. It's Gaijinbu. So you can follow me on twitch.tv/itsgaijinbu, twitter.com, same deal. Same username everywhere, basically. So feel free to drop by and drop a follow, come hang out, come chat, maybe win some Lumas. I do give away a lot of Lumas. A lot.
You can catch Shintigami on his OnlyFans account at I'm kidding.
No, they're talking about my OnlyFans account, which does exist. Okay. There's just nothing there. I made one because I was going to put up sexy pictures of Tatarus for people.
Nice. Yeah, and then don't forget there's an official TemTalk club. Go ahead and join it. I saw someone asking in Discord or chat, could you do stuff with clubs outside of PvP? Clubs are just social hubs right now. They'll eventually be club wars, but feel free to join the TemTalk club and hang out with us there. With that said, I want to. So I told you guys before the show, guys, I don't know if you heard this. You might have, but Kennedy definitely did. So one of my favorite other podcasts and hobbies, I play Magic the Gathering EDH, and one of my favorite podcasts, it's called the Command Zone. Check them out. But something that they do, they have a part of their show called the End Step, where they talk about something outside of the world of Magic, completely unrelated to their main topic. And I was like, we should do that. We all have a lot of interest in things that we like talking about outside of it. For just a couple minutes at the very end of the show, something outside of the world of Temtem. We're debating what to call this segment. Kennedy had some good ideas calling it the swap out or the turn 30 for the end of the battle. So we'll see what we settle on. Both good options. But for this week, Kennedy, are you ready? Is Will helping you? So Kennedy's going to take this week. For future reference, it can be shows, movies, books, other games, anything that you're very hyped about, other podcasts that aren't related to Temtem. We'll just feature and talk about something.
Sounds good, yeah. Ken likes turn 30. I like turn 30,
turn 30
too. I think
the
that
turn
sounds
30?
good.
Yeah. So this turn 30, Kenny's going to show off some of his girlfriend's Willow's. She collects weapons. So without further ado, Kennedy, show them off and tell, and we'll try to describe it to the listeners while you hold them up if you're just listening to audio only.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my partner, she's got a very extensive collection of actual weapons, not like collector's weapons. So she's got, I thought it was like 20, but it's like 40 to 50. This is a ball and chain. She has like, I guess, a flail.
Like a flail, yeah. Rattle those chains in the mic. I love that sound coming through.
Yeah, it's like actual heavy and real steel balls or whatever these are.
Your camera.
Yeah, I know.
Who's got big balls?
There was one she wanted me specifically to show off because people always comment of just like, oh, you're just like collecting fake weapons and stuff for display purposes. And it's like, no, these are real weapons. So this one is a sword that is actually deadly enough to kill somebody. You can see it doesn't have like a fancy case. It's just like a sword you carry with you. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to push to talk, so let go of my mic.
Sure. So he's unshielding the sword. It's got very black blade, very thin. Oh, it looks
damn!
sweet. It looks very
that
light.
thing looks tight.
It's like a katana. It's got some Japanese on the blade. It looks like that's really cool.
It's shorter than a katana. It's shorter than a katana. I'm not sure what they would call that one, but it's not a katana.
Yeah, katana-esque.
It's funny because I'm actually, I think that's what it's called. I'm actually a pacifist, so I don't know the names of any of these types of weapons.
Are you going to show kindness off?
Yeah, that's the next one. This is probably one of her favorite ones. She can't wield it because it's too heavy for her.
It looks like heavy.
A nice broadsword. Yeah, I'm going to grab it off the wall.
Why he grabbed this? The whole reason we started this was before the show, we're like, Kenny, is that a sword behind you? And Willow was like, oh, I can take it off the wall if you guys don't want it in the background. I was like, no, definitely leave the sword up in the background. We want to see the sword on stream. Look at that thing. It's got some weight.
Oh, so that's a wakizashi.
The sword that he had out before?
Yeah, the shorter companion to a katana is called a wakizashi.
So he's holding up kindness here. It's a jaded blade. So it's got this cool jaded blade. The handle are these two very elaborate snakes. The handle guard biting the blade and coming up from the handle guard.
That part's gonna hurt.
Very cool looking sword.
It's gonna hurt, but damn, that thing is so cool.
It looks heavy as he's moving around with it.
And it's called kindness, so that when you die from it, you have been killed by kindness.
She's killing you with kindness. Kenny, I know you can't talk now, but when you get back, I'm curious, does she... And Will maybe doesn't want to, by any means, if she doesn't, but does she do any like photographs with any of this? Or is like, can you see this online with her wielding this? Or does she want to plug anything with this or no?
I mean, she's shown me pictures of them, but I mean, they're pretty much just for like her collection.
Just for her?
And I guess
that's cool.
Yeah, she wants to defend herself.
Yeah. That's
This one, when you guys mentioned you wanted to talk about her weapons on stream, I walked out of the bathroom and she had this one here, which is like a tactical crossbow.
Whoa.
And she's like, "Do you want to show this off on stream?" I was like, "Oh my god, put that down." But it wasn't.
So
can you shoot it?
How does this
right at the door?
How does this work? She's got 20 plus weapons, and you're a pacifist. How does you guys ever? What's the deal here?
I don't know how we fell in love. It was it's one of the great mysteries of the universe. But I try and convince people to be nice to each other. She threatens them, so
it works out good in conjunction together, I suppose. All right,
but yeah, she's got a couple more, but I'm not going to go fiddle battle with them.
That's perfect. We'll keep this segment just to a couple minutes at the very end. So no, I think that's going to do it for us. So thank you everyone so much for joining us and dropping in. Don't forget to follow around on Twitch and social media and on YouTube. Subscribe. We got to beat TemTalk. We need more subs than them. So thank you so much, everyone. Until next time.